Choke Enough is the debut album from French singer and producer Oklou. She has been gaining attention in recent years within the electronic alt-pop scene through her 2020 mixtape Galore, as well as her collaborations with A.G. Cook, Flume. This debut also features guest appearances from Underscores and Blade. All of these artists occupy a similar space in the industry with overlapping fan bases and interconnected scenes, and Oklou now feels like one of the newest rising voices to enter that lane. Oklou's vocals carry a digital, almost robotic quality which naturally stems from the influence of PC music artists. At times, her voice even reminds me of the song Still Alive from the Portal game soundtrack. That might sound like an oddly specific comparison, and she's probably not directly influenced by Portal, but if you revisit that song, you'll get what I mean. At times, when paired with the atmospheric electronic / alt pop production with the slight Y2K aesthetic vibes, her vocals create the feeling of being stranded on a super foggy, ice-covered planet. That description might sound interesting on paper, though in reality, it would be boring. The biggest issue with Choke Enough, stemming from its heavy reliance on aesthetics, is consistency. The beats are inconsistent in quality, the choruses rarely stand out, and the lyrics often lack memorability. For every strong hook there are twice as many dull ones, like on Obvious. The chorus here is so forgettable that I didn't even notice there was one until it's passed. The album opener, Endless, ironically delivers absolutely nothing despite its title. The production feels very hollow. Many of the beats here focus too heavily on atmosphere rather than excitement. However, in the midst of this tracklist full of ideas that sound good on paper but don't quite land, Oklou still manages to deliver a few infectious choruses that feel like they were made in a futuristic cyberpunk world, but only a few. For example, on Harvest Sky with Underscores, the hook is lovely and makes me feel like I'm sitting on the edge of a floating grassy island in some fantasy video game universe. The hook on Take Me By The Hand with Blade slaps too, but despite its great hook, the instrumental remains as uninteresting as those on the lower points of the album. Furthermore, I think the featured guests still come off as less exciting than they could have been. As solo artists, both Blade and Underscores are great. I've been loving Blade's music in recent years, and I've especially been massively enjoying Underscore's work. However, their performances on their respective tracks come off as filler, mostly serving to bridge the gap between the chorus and nothing else. It's really Blade's Bird that takes the cake as the most flawless song on the entire album. I adore how each time the incredible chorus comes on, something new is added, like the additional drums when it plays the second time, and the atmospheric synths when it plays for the last time. The production goes through so many interesting changes in its 3-minute runtime that it makes me wonder why the majority of the other tracks on the record feature instrumentals that are so boring. I wouldn't say Oklou is someone to completely ignore moving forward in the current alt-pop scene, because there is some potential in the highs here. However, she doesn't really offer anything uniquely interesting in her sound that makes her a standout figure in the lane as of right now. If I wanted to listen to an album that transports me to another world, partially due to the atmospheric electronic influenced beats and hazy vocals, I would much rather listen to Bjork's Vespertine or Blade and Echo 2K's Crest. Album rating 5.3 out of 10.